This Monday.com ad was created by a team of people and AI agents. The agents wrote the copy and managed the timelines, while our human creative director made sure it all made sense. Easy. Create your own AI agent today on Monday.com.
That refresh you've been putting off until the right deal came along? It's here! Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale is happening now, so you can finally get the style you've been waiting for less. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
I thought it was really interesting because they made one of the dogs bad. None of the dogs are bad. All the dogs are good.
Gotta
These
have
are not
a villain.
showboats.
You gotta have a villain.
You've reached American History Hotline. You ask the questions, we get the answers. Leave a message.
Hey there, American History Hotliners. Bob Crawford here. Thrilled to be joining you again for another episode of American History Hotline. It's the show where you ask the questions. And the best way to get us a question is to record a video or a voice memo on your phone and email it to americanhistoryhotline@gmail.com. That's americanhistoryhotline@gmail.com. Okay, today's question may satisfy your inner child. Here to help me answer this question is Dr. Nicole Burt. She's curator of human health and evolutionary medicine at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. She's also the interim chief curator there. It's a great museum, by the way. Nicole, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Nicole, here's the question we were hoping you could help us answer today.
Hi, American History Hotline. My name is Kelly, and I'm from Pennsylvania. My question is about the Disney movie Balto. I loved it when I was a kid, and I'd like to know if it's really based on a true story or not. Thank you.
Nicole, let's jump right in. Yes or no? Is the Balto movie based on a true story?
Okay, so this maybe gets into what being based on a true story means. Balto is a real dog. There is an actual serum run. And diphtheria was a real problem for people in the 1920s. However, the depiction of the movie is pretty creative. So the actual details are a bit rough, but Balto is a real dog, and he really did save a bunch of children from an epidemic.
Okay, so we're going to dig into this.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, you're a natural history museum there in Cleveland.
Yes.
Do you actually have the real Balto on display?
We do have the real Balto. Cleveland is very proud of Balto. He's one of our icons. So he is in our visitor hall. There are members that come and visit Balto multiple times a week. We love Balto in Cleveland.
So how big is he?
Hopefully everybody's seen a dog. He is actually a fairly small dog. So for a working dog, right? If you've seen a husky, he's not as big as most standard huskies nowadays. He's much shorter and squatter. He has very thick fur. It is darker, like a nice chocolatey brown. He actually just got a full spa treatment when we redid his exhibit. So in the last 2 years, his fur has been fluffed. His little socks re-whitened because he has white socks. And yeah, he's a very cute small dog.
Is it all of his actual fur, or do you add fur?
That's a really good question. It is still his fur. Like when you do spa days, they do actually repaint them because the fur itself will lose some of its color over time. But he is still his skin and hair is part of that. And so he's a really well done taxidermy mount. So taxidermy is what we call the process of preserving those skins. You may have seen them in most people, I'm from the Midwest, so most people have maybe seen like a mounted deer specimen or something like that. That's also taxidermy.
So let's get to why he's at a museum in Cleveland. When he became famous for pulling sleds in Alaska.
Yeah. So I think it gets into kind of a full scope of the story, right? So the serum run was super famous. So
Okay,
he, yeah, like,
let's set the time period.
yeah.
And
So
this is 1925,
yes,
Nome, Alaska.
yeah. So 1925, Nome, Alaska is going to be the serum run. There's an epidemic outbreak happening in Nome. It hits the papers. It's all over the news. This is big news in January of 1925. And so even in Cleveland, we're aware of that story and we follow it. My grandparents were alive and they were little kids. They remember this story as well. So Dr. Welch was in Nome, Alaska. They actually have 2 indigenous children of the Anipiak people have passed. Diphtheria is very dangerous. Epidemics are known, so epidemics have all the time. So he knows how serious this is. So he immediately gets on his telegraph because they're completely cut off for 7 months of the year in Nome, Alaska. So they're already in the winter and they know no one can get to them but dog sleds. So the trains can't go. We have trains, we have airplanes. They're not getting in the dead of winter. It's January. And so they need help. So they're going to telegraph out. And even though people, again, it's normal for Nome to be cut off. Not normal for them to be cut off and have an epidemic. So that's pretty scary. And so they needed to think of a way to get it there. It usually takes a month to get things to Nome. So they know how dire this is. So this is big news. And I think that's one of the things, like it feels exciting now, but it was also exciting then. In terms of the media coverage, there's amazing national media coverage of the epidemic in Nome because the rest of the country, not Alaskans, are enamored with this idea of the dog sleds being the only way to get the materials. So it really kind of highlights this like local knowledge and what you're used to and like a national experience of a crisis.
Well, yeah. Well, just if I just could
Yeah.
interrupt
Yeah.
respectfully for a second,
Yeah.
it is this idea of when COVID
Mm-hmm.
happened. We were all on a grander scale, probably a more universal,
Yeah.
international scale. This idea of Operation Warp Speed.
Yep.
And trying to get a vaccine.
Yes.
Delivered, right? Like literally,
Yeah.
like delivered, created, delivered.
Yep.
In a, how do we collapse the amount of time it will take
Yes.
to do this, and this is kind of a version of that.
Yeah, you hit on it. This is exactly why this is important for me as a health curator to talk about, which is diphtheria was a epidemic. They were having multiple epidemics around the country, not just in Alaska with diphtheria through the 1920s. 13 to 15,000 children and elderly would die per year from diphtheria. So this is a real threat. Like when people know, they're afraid. And the idea that they could do something to prevent it was exciting. So the idea that we could take a trip that normally takes a month and do it in 5 days to save kids is exactly that. Like, what can when humans put their mind to doing a big task, we can do it. And so in that time, that was the moral of this story, is like humans can do big, difficult things when they want to. And that's still why it's so exciting now, I think. That's the story. Like,
Okay, so they realized the only way to get the serum to the kids who need it is via a dog sled.
yes. And so now they need volunteers, right? So people don't run that route for charity, right? So Balto is actually part of a freight sled. So they did freight runs through that area. And some of the other famous mushers, like Togo has a movie as well. He's another one of the teams with Leonard Shepla, who actually was the predominant racer. So he was famous for winning dog sled races, which are also happening at this time. So his team was faster. And so if you look at Togo, he looks like more like what you would expect. Like we asked what Balto looked like. Togo looks a little bit more like what you expect a sled dog to look like because he's a racer. So he's fast, right? Like you want a fast dog. Balto is a much more bulky, reliable dog.
So we have Togo's team, which is probably faster.
Yeah.
And then you have Balto's team. You know, how was it determined which team would take on this task?
That's the initial idea when they have the serum in like January 27th is when they're really starting out. So January 20th, epidemic breaks out. January 27th, they're like, okay, it's got to be dog sleds. We found the serum. We got to get it. This antitoxin is very fragile, so you do have to be a little bit careful with it. And we have to get it there as quickly as possible. So they're going to run kind of as long as the dogs can handle it to do it. So the original idea is fewer teams, longer stretches of the over 600-mile trip. So that's what Leonard Chepla thinks is happening when he sets out. As they start, they realize they're getting good press. So there's more teams signing up. There's going to be, in the end, over 20 dog sled teams that take part in this relay, that if they keep it to each group doing about 30 miles, they'll be able to actually make better time by doing it relay style. And so this also starts from Nanaina. They're coming the other way, right? So they're coming up. So they're coming at each other. The teams take, I believe it's Wild Bill is the first. They have great names because it's, the 20s. Wild Bill Shannon takes the first leg with his team, does 30 miles. They're going to hand off overnight. So this makes it, they can go all day, all night. The weather is dropping. It's getting worse. So it's already going to be impassable. It's -50 by the time they're going across. So day in and day out, they're going through. So it's starting on around January 27th. The 28th to 29th, I believe there's, 9 teams that do 30-ish mile stints to get them along. There's then going to be like a little break. Then by the January 30th, we have more teams taking those miles. They're not very famous teams. So these are just guys with teams. So they're freighters, they're racers, they're people who do jobs. These are just people who know of the need. Like I said, it's very well publicized and are committed to preventing children from dying. Because diphtheria, I don't think I said this, diphtheria when untreated, so if you don't have that antitoxin, about 50% of children who have it will die. It's very serious if untreated. And so they really know they have a window. By the time they get through switching teams, they can't get a hold of Chepla because he is just like booking it out. So he is booking it out. They're trying to tell him he can wait and they'll hit him. Eventually, around January 31st, he's supposed to make a handoff, but he doesn't know that.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Your routine should be anything but vanilla, but your ready-to-go wellness can be. Bring flavor and function together with Vital Protein's Vanilla Collagen and Protein Shake. With 30 grams of protein and 10 grams of collagen peptides, it supports hair, skin, nails, and joints, ready whenever you are. So you're also fueled and ready to go. Vital Proteins. Stay vital. Visit vitalproteins.com to get started. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Maintenance fee, overdraft fee, minimum balance fee, maximum balance fee. Banking fees are just a part of modern life. Or are they? They're not at Ally Bank. At Ally Bank, there are no tricks, no hidden fine print or jumping through hoops for better rates. They just want to help you save automatically while you spend, with spending accounts and savings tools with great rates. No tricks, no hidden fees, banking built for life today. Learn more at ally.com. Ally Bank. Member FDIC.
I like things my way. My coffee, my schedule, and my treatment. So I talked to my doctor about self-injecting with the Vyvgart Hytrulo prefilled syringe, which contains Efgartigimod alpha and hyaluronidase QVFC. It's injected under your skin, subcutaneously. It means I can inject in my space, on my time. It's my treatment, my way. Visit VyvgartMyWay.com. That's VYVGART myway.com. And talk to your doctor about Vyvgart Hytrulo, brought to you by Argenx.
T-Mobile is reinventing business internet with super broadband. Whether you run a small office or a factory of 500, connection is everything. Powered by America's fastest 5G internet, plus Starlink. Super broadband from T-Mobile reaches every zip code in the U.S. Super broadband, a new era of business internet. Visit superbroadband.com to learn more.
Fastest 5G network based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. Speeds vary due to local network characteristics and management. Satellite requires hardware installation. Clear view of the sky with 36-month commitment.
This is American History Hotline. I'm your host, Bob Crawford. Today, my guest is Dr. Nicole Burt. She's curator of human health and evolutionary medicine at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. She's also the interim chief curator there. We're talking about dog sledding and the Disney movie Balto. Remember to send us your burning questions about American history. Record yourself using the voice memo app on your phone and email it to americanhistoryhotline@gmail.com. That's americanhistoryhotline@gmail.com. Now back to the show. Okay, when we left off, Nicole, we were visualizing this yes. relay and what was happening. So take us to this moment. Take us back to this moment.
Yeah, so the weather is terrible. They're going day and night. They're trying to speed up a trip that usually takes a month, and they want to do it absolutely as fast as possible because every lost day is a potential for a child to not make it. So they're feeling the crunch, but the weather is really not with them. It's getting worse and worse. There's snowstorms. The visibility is very poor. That is very tiring for both the men, but also the dogs, right? So in dog sleds, the lead dog actually has to pick the path. So if he can't see and do it, they're going to get lost. But it's very important that they don't lose time, which is, again, why you want the best teams you can doing the hardest legs, because they're less likely to get slowed down by that.
Okay, so I got to interrupt you here.
Yeah.
So the best teams, we know Togo, we know his team's the best, the fastest. We know Balto isn't the muscular, fast dog that you would imagine by looking at him. How does Balto wind up in the middle, in this position? So they need teams. They need teams that are used to running the route. And so Balto is relatively inexperienced, but Gunnar Kaysen, who is his musher, is gung-ho about doing this. They're also in the right place, right? So they're actually positioned closer to Nome, where they can do that final handoff and pull it through. So they don't want to, again, trying to do handoffs so that no one's doing the whole trip, but they're catching whatever mushers are in locations to try to stack it to go faster. Relay style, as opposed to a marathon foot race for one person. And so really they're taking whoever they can get. They need people who will do it and are willing to risk their own life and the lives of their dogs, right? This is dangerous. People are getting frostbite. People are getting injured. Dogs are getting injured. So you are actually risking it. And like I said, these are economic. So they care for their dogs. We know that. But they're also part of their economic livelihood, right? Much like farmers and ranchers, where if the dogs are injured, they're what powers their sleds, right? They're economically not going to be able to succeed. Balto's team, though, is actually owned by Shepla, who is very devoted to this cause. So even though he has his preferred team with Togo, one of his other teams, which is led by Balto, is also in the midst, led by another musher gunner. So Shepla actually ends up meeting up with Henry Ivanov and doing a trade of the serum right before having to make a short cross across Norton Sound, which I'm not an expert
in dog sleds. I'm really not. I'm an expert in medical access and the general story of of why we need to do this type of work. But everybody agrees it's crazy. The fact that they found each other is insane. And then the fact that he took that shortcut through the sound is also crazy. The fact that they were able to get through that. And that is a crucial point. He takes the longest leg. So Shepla and Togo take the longest leg with a shortcut, which shaves off really necessary time. And so that's one of those points. And I bring it up because I believe Balto is a hero. But all the dogs are heroes.
Right. And if I'm writing the screenplay for Disney, I'm looking at the facts and saying, wow, this thing writes itself. But there were liberties taken. So what were some of those liberties that were taken with the film?
So I actually recently, all the fans are going to be so mad. So I was too old for the movie in 1995, so I did not see it as a child. So I literally watched it because I finally watched it because of the question. The question asker inspired me. I watched it. And I thought it was really interesting because they made one of the dogs bad. None of the dogs are bad. All the dogs are good.
Gotta
These
have
are not
a villain.
showboats.
You gotta have a villain.
You have to have a villain, but it's not the dog. There are no bad dogs. All the dogs in this story are great.
All dogs go to heaven.
It's true. See? But yeah, so that was one of the biggest things, right? Everybody really is working towards a shared goal. This is a group project. It's a group hero situation. Balto as the final team is going to get a lot of the publicity, and rightly so. That's still great. That's the final one. They got it there. They also overcame really hard odds. They took a double shift as well, 61 miles. So they went overnight through a storm. They're not sure if they just missed the stop or why they pushed through, but Balto pushed through with Gunnar. And they're the ones that actually got it to the team on time at the hospital to deliver it. And so there was media there, right? There's a film crew who filmed it and they reenacted it live. And so it gets into why certain people, what gets captured for posterity and pushed up, right? So because all the other parts Disney had to make up, because it's essentially, we have the names, we have the distances, we have color commentary after the fact, but they didn't have cameras with them. No one was with them. They weren't journaling while they were going through. And so you just have to know what's happening. Whereas once you get to Nome with Balto and Gunnar Kaysen, we have video, we have film reel of that happening. And so that really catches the imagination. And so I understand why they focused on Balto and that aspect of the story. To me, the villain is medical access, right? The villain is there's this isolated place with one doctor and they don't have enough medicine to treat children. That's the villain. But that's not very exciting for a child.
Right. We need to personify the villainy. So,
yeah, maybe if diphtheria, they should have animated the bacteria. So maybe if it was drawing a bacteria with a monocle, that would be.
and this was before Inside Out.
Yes,
so,
exactly. No one had thought about that.
We weren't there yet.
Man,
so,
all the money you can make.
So Balto's part of this historic dog sledding team that accomplishes this incredible humanitarian act.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happens to Balto? Because you were telling me that he winds up in the circus.
Yeah.
So how does this happen?
So he's famous. Much like now, people want to capitalize on fame. The 20s aren't that different. So Shepla, I'm remembering Balto is owned by Shepla, but it's not his primary team. He doesn't, this is now the famous dog, but he wasn't a great dog. He was just a fine freight dog, right? He wasn't special to him in terms of his racing career. So he essentially sold him to an agent so that he could go on tour. He was very the country loved him Balto, like the film reels went out, the newsreels went out of reenacting the delivery.
Nicole, if I could just ask you, like, Balto's part of a team.
Yeah.
He's part of the final team that delivers the serum. Why did he in particular get singled out?
So they sent the whole team. So Cleveland actually say Balto and his teammates that were still surviving. So it would have been the whole group. So they did go as a team. They were actually doing, I'm sure people are more familiar like with like the Wild West shows type of tours where you had like cowboys pretending to still be cowboys, right? Like the 20s is a crazy time in terms of like what's happening.
Right. Yeah.
Concurrent cultural norms. They were actually doing the same thing with the dog sleds. So Balto, they had a dog sled. They hired an actor to pretend to be an indigenous woman to drive the sled. So they were like reenacting it essentially as part of the tour, as well as, letting people see really good dogs. People want to see good dogs even in 1925. And so they actually toured for about 2 years before they ended up in LA. And they would have been, I believe they went through at least 2 owners. So there was an original agent and then a second agent, which is how they ended up in LA when George Kimball actually found them kind of becoming obscure, right? Like, so he still remembered how famous they were, but they were kind of like over the pitch of their fame. They were on the down slope of their fame at that point. Gunnar Kaysen was no longer with them. He had, the money dried up because he was originally on tour with them. So he had left as well. And so they were at kind of, they were turning into has-beens, I guess. That is when George Kimball found them and remembering the story and being very personally touched by it, decided to save them.
Dr. Burt, this has been a great conversation. I think my last question for you is, do you recommend people see the Disney film?
Oh, man, that's hard.
Well, look at that. Like the pause kind of tells a story.
I mean, I'm probably too serious about Balto. It's probably totally fine to see the movie. I would say there's some great books. I know the Togo movie is also an option, which has a little bit more of an accurate story. There's so much good information at Balto. I think you can do better. That's so judgy. You can do better.
Spoken like a true museum curator.
Yeah.
I've been talking with Dr. Nicole Burt. She's curator of human health and evolutionary medicine at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. She's also the interim chief curator there. Nicole, thank you for joining us today on American History Hotline.
Thank you.
You've been listening to American History Hotline, a production of iHeart Podcasts and Scratch Track Productions. The show's executive producer is James Morrison. Our executive producers from iHeart are Jordan Runtall and Jason English. Original music composed by me, Bob Crawford. Please keep in touch. Our email is americanhistoryhotline@gmail.com. If you like the show, please tell your friends and leave us a review in Apple Podcasts. I'm your host, Bob Crawford. Feel free to hit me up on social media to ask a history question or to let me know what you think of the show. You can find me at Bob Crawford Base. Thanks so much for listening. See you next week.
What's up, fam? It's sports journalist Ari Chambers.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Sam J.
And we're the hosts of Everyone Watches Women's Sports, a new podcast from Together.
We're breaking down the biggest headlines, the viral moments, and the stories everyone's talking about across women's sports.
From game-changing performances to culture-shifting conversations, we'll give you our takes, our debates, and a few laughs along the way.
Because everyone watches women's sports. Listen to Everyone Watches Women's Sports
on the iHeartRadio app,
Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Joy is essential, and it's also elusive. But now, there's a new and exciting way to start your journey toward a more joyful existence. Joy 101. It's a new podcast hosted by me, Hoda Kotb. If you're craving inspiration to maximize your joy, tune into these candid, uplifting, and moving on-air chats. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Joy 101, and listen now. Joy 101 with Hoda Kotb is presented by CVS.
I'm Jake Brennan, and on the Disgraceland podcast, I explore the wild lives of rock stars and unbelievable true crime stories from music history. These are the stories you haven't heard, the kind you'll end up telling someone else. Like the time Paul McCartney spent in a notorious prison, or the bizarre crime Lady Gaga is accused of, or that time Blondie's Debbie Harry escaped Ted Bundy. Listen to Disgraceland on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
My first guest is Paris Hilton, Shakira, Luke, and Yerin. Have surprises?
Many surprises.
Welcome to the Sweet 305 podcast, where the group chat comes to life.
What up? You're the only person I know that loves a yellow Starburst. It's lemonade.
This is Sweet 305. Here, oversharing is encouraged. Listen to Sweet 305 with Lele Pons on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.